I don't know.
Okay.
I need to check. Everybody was so great about, like I said, texting. Oh, you're 42535.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's you. I have not, Sam said I'll be there, but we have a quarantine, so we could start.
Okay. You ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna call this meeting to order. And everyone is present except for Sandra. And seeking either approval of the agenda in order and content.
I move to approve the agenda, order and content.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Anyone abstaining? Okay, good. Do we have public comments?
We do not.
All right, and now we have a special presentation, Streetsense marketing update.
Yes, so I'd like to introduce to you Jennifer Jasper. She is the Senior Account Director for Streetsense, and Emily Magus, who's the Senior Content Strategist for Streetsense. And these are my coworkers. I work with these two probably more than anyone else on a weekly basis. So I'm excited for some of you to meet them. I think you've met some, definitely Jennifer before. I think this is the first time you're meeting Emily, but we're excited to give you an update on where things are at with the Begin at Bothell marketing campaign. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jennifer.
Thank you. Emily is going to share her screen if you guys don't mind. We've prepared a little presentation for you guys, and we are just kind of putting a pin in our marketing activities to share with you some of the updates as it relates to how we're tracking against our contract deliverables. And then also wanted to take time out to share with you some of the advancements we've made with technology, with our programming. As you guys know, a couple of really important things as part of this contract were number one, making sure that we were really getting behind promoting, touting, supporting any and everything to do with World Cup games and the Club Cup games. And then also, more importantly, was Reels. Reels became a really hot topic for us collectively at the end of last year. And so we wanted to make sure that we invested time, energy, and money into creating more Reels and then leveraging those Reels as much as we could. So you're going to hear most of the discussion today will be on the latter two things. But to start us off, I just wanted to kind of talk through our deliverables as we were sitting at the end of May. So if you could take us to that first slide, Emily, I'd appreciate it.
If it lets me, there we go.
Cool, thank you. Again, these are metrics through the end of May. As you know, we have milestones that we maintain that we want to hit at the end of each month. And so I can report across the board for all of these, we are tracking as we should to deliver on each of these tasks. But for social media, we had 51 posts, 7 of which had been original reels, 10 of which had been reshared reels. Blogs, 7 of them had been published and promoted. Our database, as we move into the email realm, we had deployed 5 emails. Our database was just over 20,500. Our average open rate is 25%. Average click-through rate is 1.5%, leaving us with an average engagement rate of 26.7%. And for those of you who operate in the email realm, you'll appreciate that that is a very phenomenal engagement rate. Excuse me, I have a fruit fly flying around my face. Moving over.
Sorry, Jennifer, I just really want to quickly interrupt by saying these figures, I know the contract is for 2 years, but these are figures from January to May of this year. You may have all seen that, but just double checking or reconfirming.
Thank you for that, Danae. Moving into the paid consumer engagements, by the end of May, if we were to be tracking against our 2-year goal, we would have expected to had at least 13,241 website visitors under our belt. Thankfully, we had already been able to take credit for 16,290. So as you see, we're pacing ahead there. And the fun story there is that we did that all organically. So this is again, when we met last, we talked about how we've really been able to pick up on that search engine optimization and all of those optimizations that we've made over the years and the investment that we've made in the content that lives on the website, how that's really taken off for us. And we've been able to garner so much website traffic organically. We didn't have to pay for it. Beyond that, we have an additional almost 6,000 website visitors that Streetsense has driven to the website through our lead generation program, our email marketing, and even our social channels. So, again, as a quick reminder, social has many different goals, and each social post has its own goal. We might want someone to view a video. We might want someone to click through to the website. There's lots of different things that we want people to do with our social posts, and each one varies. It doesn't always mean we want them to come back to our website. But even with that being said, that's still over 4,000 people who took the chance and went back to our website anyways. So super appreciative there. And then last but not least, leads. We continuously want to replenish our database. And as of the end of May, we had added 773 fresh faces to the database so that we could start talking to them. Any questions about these metrics?
I have a question.
Yes.
The average open rate, where are we, 25%? Where is that just generally? Is that in the average range, or is that what we would expect?
That's actually pretty incredible. Open rates vary based on several different factors. There are some destinations that have an open rate of 15%, and that is actually pretty phenomenal for that particular destination. 25% for you guys is out of this world. And I tell you that because the majority of your database has come from leads that we have generated for you. So these are people that we went out and got. We had to introduce ourselves to them. We had to kind of paint a picture, court them, get them to like us, and then they came on board. So it was a little bit more of a journey to make friends with these people. It's different from some databases are built based off of organic relationships where we don't know each other. I walk up to you and say, hey, I want to learn more about you. Those people are much more excited to learn about Bothell, and they're much more likely to be engaged with your content, which is why having a 25% open rate on a database that is predominantly generated by other sources, it says a lot about the content and the relationship that we've established with your database to be one that's trustworthy enough that they continue opening month after month.
Thank you.
Of course. Anybody else on this slide?
We're good.
All right, Emily. All right, as I mentioned, the first of our big initiatives was to really take advantage of the fact that we are sitting right next door to where the World Cup 2026 and Club Cup 2025 games are being played. So we wanted to make sure that folks knew our proximity to these games and how Bothell is the perfect place to come set up camp, make this your base camp, go and enjoy all of the things that the games have to offer, but come back to Bothell to spend the night, to eat your food, to have your activities, do all of the things. So we have been, when appropriate, creating social posts, incorporating content into our website, any messaging possible that we can share this information without being obnoxious or overwhelming. On the flip side, overwhelming the destination with, flooding folks that we aren't going to be able to handle. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Emily, and we're going to talk a little about the first 3 posts of the year that we've done to support these games and how they have worked out for us.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. That was a very nice setup for this. So as Jennifer mentioned, here are 3 of our posts that we use to promote the World Soccer and Club Soccer games. Either looking for opportunities within, like if we had kind of space within our editorial calendars from each month, or we found a really great asset and we wanted to promote it. That's kind of the route we went. So you'll see like this first image that we shared in February had almost 700 likes on it and a 15.37% engagement rate, which is a really high percentage. I would say it really depends month to month, just for your knowledge on engagement rate, but essentially 15% of the people that saw this post engaged with it, which is amazing. This second post that we shared was in April, and this note here is just essentially saying that we did utilize a higher boosting budget on this post. So we put a few more dollars behind this post to blast it out to more people. It went to 99.9% of Instagram users who were not already following our page. However, they still found it relevant enough to engage with the post. And you'll see here that we had over 15,000 likes on this post. So a lot of great exposure for Bothell, and for our page as a whole. It had 23 shares. So shares and saves are a big metric on Instagram, where people find the content relatable enough or shareable enough to want to spread the word or save the information for later. This last post that we shared, we essentially laid out all the different dates and the matches. So just another kind of savable, usable piece that people can refer back to for later. And then again, as Jennifer mentioned, it's hopefully getting people to come back to our main profile page and see what Bothell is all about. So a lot of good engagement here and impressions that we were really happy with. Any questions on this one? Okay, and then I'll pass it back to Jennifer to discuss the website features for this event or these events.
Yeah, so for each event, we create a featured event, which goes onto our website. It allows for more space to really tell the story about the events themselves. So World Cup Soccer, that's a longer lasting event. Not only does it have the details surrounding the event, but it also has nice image gallery to support it. Same thing with the club soccer. That has actually expired, so you will not be able to find that on the website any longer. But the World Soccer 2026, if you were to go to our website on our events page, you would be able to pull up that listing and read all about the event itself. And whenever possible, whenever we mentioned either of these events, this is where we landed people. We drove them back to either of these events on our website.
Okay, kind of switching gears, going back into, as Jennifer mentioned, Reels. Essentially, so I'll talk about Instagram story highlights in a minute and explain kind of what that is if you're unfamiliar. But a huge priority this year is Instagram Reels and sharing those in as many ways as we can. So these highlights, let me hope that this works. Okay, so this is our Instagram profile page. If you go to Bothell, this is where you'll be taken. And then just so I level set, so Instagram highlights are these little circles that pop up at the top of our profile. And also when you're on your phone, if you pull up Instagram, if you're unfamiliar, you'll see little circles from other users and accounts pop up at the top there. So what we've started to do is that whenever we share a video or reel on our Instagram, we'll then share it to our Instagram stories. So someone will open their Instagram and they'll be able to see Begin at Bothell posted at the top. And essentially those last for 24 hours just in those stories. But what we do is that we save them to our highlights. So you can always refer back to them within these little like guides essentially at the top of our page. They'll always live in feed, but as you see, as we continue to post more, they get pushed down. But essentially they're mini playlists. We have activities, guides, shopping, food and drink, events, and like a local. So when you click in here, you'll see this reel we shared 19 weeks ago, but it's popping up so that you can see it here. And then it's great because people can refer back to it, but so this like counts as an impression or a view essentially. So our content continues to garner engagements and impressions as people click through these. So you can just kind of see all the different activities we've shared through video. And then like, this is a guide. So fun facts about McMenamins. Let us plan your spring girls trip. And then you can click into it. It takes you to the reel if you want to engage or see the caption, etc. Yeah, just kind of keeps everything organized. And again, drive long-term value for each post. Okay, oops, wrong way. Okay, now we'll head into top performing original reels. So throughout the year, we've shared some, or we've reshared some reels that we're not going to talk about today, but you can always see them in our profile. There's a lot of great content that people are putting out about Bothell and the general area that we like to reshare. But these are a few original reels, and I'll show you more on the next slide. But this one is our top performing reel, original reel for the year. And this particular post, we utilized a content creator provided video clip. So Melissa, who is our hired content creator, essentially went around and collected B-roll of different restaurants and areas throughout the city. And you'll see in this reel, and then if you click through, we'll send the presentation out after, but as you click through, you'll see some of that kind of B-roll that really sets the scene for the city and the different businesses. So let's see, a few of the themes from our top posts are curated recommendations, recognizable local spots, and visually engaging content. The strongest results came from short list style videos that highlight can't miss experiences. So one-day itineraries like this one, which is our top post, a seasonal cheat sheet, or a bucket list of things to do. So make sure my technology is working. So again, this is, you can kind of see the video moving. It's really subtle, but this is the kind of content that people are really excited about, is just kind of our recommendations on if we only had one day. Let me make this bigger. There we go. If we only had one day in Bothell, Washington, here's what we suggest for breakfast, lunch, etc. This is a really savable type of post. If someone is traveling to the area, they can always refer back to it. And then this one was our second top performing post, and I'm going to turn on the audio in a second because it's a very different, like there's more movement here. It goes with trending audio. So hold on, once it starts from the top, I'll play it.
We're not hearing anything.
Oh no. Okay. Well, it's okay. You'll be able to hear it when it's linked.
You won't know where to find it.
Yes. But essentially more movement here. This also is content from Melissa. So just really great investment there in terms of what we're able to use and reshare her assets for. So yes, some of them are essentially tied to trending audio. Some of them are more, here's what we recommend from the area. Or wait, let me show you this one. Day in the life, summer cheat sheet. So this is kayak, like outdoor adventures, live entertainment. So kind of just repurposing itineraries in different ways. And again, when we share this, all of these are linkable and you'll be able to hear the audio and everything. So, okay.
Just have to say, Emily's done such a great job of taking content and creating reels. So they could be, it could be still content, but then also the contract that we did with Melissa. She's a content creator and an influencer, and we knew that the reels were a priority for everyone, and so we just really wanted to take advantage of bringing Emily to Bothell to focus on some of those restaurants and shops and cafes that don't do a lot of posting on their own. A lot of the information that Emily is able to gather comes from other people's posts, and when you have some great businesses that don't have a strong presence, being able to capture some of those images and then put them into reels has been really a wonderful asset to what we're able to do.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Danae. And then continuing to share the reels as many ways as we possibly can leads me to our standout blogs. Let me go over here. So this blog that we shared, so we're essentially showcasing some of the exciting new features that we've added to blogs that you not see on a lot of other blogs across other travel and tourism sites. So here we have a Not Your Average Destination blog where we talk about a lot of the unique things to do in and around the city and what makes it so unique. But so just your general image, which is nothing new. This you can see, you probably won't be able to hear it, but a reel, I just want to make sure because I can hear it, a reel embedded into our blog. So you get a full picture of what it looks like to be in the pop shop, for example. Everything around me is so beautiful. So there's that. The most exciting feature of this blog, here's a gallery. This was our first blog where we got to implement a map. So we kind of took all of the different destinations that we talked about within this one single blog, and we're able to put it into one, essentially just one map that allows people to click through. So there are different views. You can click, it's interactive, and then different essentially like Google listings populate in here. But what's really cool about this is that we can add CTAs that link people to other additional parts of the blog. So we're seeing engagement and sessions be even longer than they would normally if people are interacting with this. You can have reels in here. So hours of operation, you can actually like interact with this map, like I mentioned, and see other businesses around it. So really helping people to plan their trips. I think it was McMenamin's where you can have a gallery that we've implemented. So just a lot of fun features that we're looking forward to continue to add into our blogs to showcase, where the city is and all the incredible things to do around it. The next standout blog we have is most Instagrammable spots you'll want to snap ASAP. So we have kind of these Reels galleries. This was the first time we've used a blog that strictly shared Reels only, no images. I think it's because I've populated this before the meeting, but essentially like one reel will show or will start playing at a time, as you can see here. But again, just really kind of giving people the full picture of what it looks like to be at Alexa's Cafe or the Sammamish River. And then you can click through. So a lot of great content in here. We also have our shopping guide. So just another example of ways we've utilized video. So this one's we share videos and static images within one gallery. We share standalone reels. And then I think that's our last blog we have on here. Let's see. And then again, all these are clickable when you get the presentation. So you'll be able to read through and click through and play around with all of it. But any questions on blogs or anything? I know I'm moving kind of quickly.
Does everyone know what a blog is?
Yes.
Perfect. And yeah, we promote these So we have 2 blogs a month, and we promote them one time per blog, but you'll see some blog re-promos. So some of our more evergreen blogs you'll see reappear on our social channels so that we continue to get the love and engagement on those, because they really are just great resources year round. So you'll continue to see those pop up on our channels.
Emily, could you explain like the blogs, how are they promoted? You know, like through the e-newsletter, through social?
Yeah, so definitely through social. So you'll see them on Facebook. It comes up as what we call a link preview. And essentially it's the header image that's really big, and you can tell that you can click it. So that's one way. You also see it on Instagram on our feed. So whatever type of asset we think pairs well with it. So it could be a reel, it could be a carousel where you can swipe through the different images, or just a static image where you'll see one photo. And then we always promote those on Instagram stories as well. So if you're on your Instagram and you see our name pop up at the top in a circle, you'll be able to click through and see some engagement stickers so people can answer questions about the blog. We typically do like 2 questions to encourage people to click through and read, so that they can click the link in our Instagram stories, and then it takes them to the blog. And then additionally, we also promote them via email. So sometimes we have specific blog emails that just maybe like, well, I'll show you here. It's so instead of this more general style content, it's all about the one blog, and it takes you to that specific blog. Jennifer might be able to speak to this a little bit more. There's a whole strategy behind it, but yeah, sometimes we have specific blog emails, and sometimes we have more generic e-newsletters that talk about a few different blogs and all link to different places.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
And so that's a good segue into the email
Yeah.
template, actually. Picking up on the blog concept and moving into the email conversation, just to add on to what Emily said. Usually when we're forming the editorial calendar for the full year, what I do is I go through analytics and I see what have been our most popular blogs. And that means overarchingly which ones have been engaged with the most, viewed the most, had the most sessions, all that kind of good stuff. That tells me that those are pretty compelling pieces of information. So I will carve those out, and then depending on whether they have seasonal relevance, I will plug those in to be kind of just like a short, sweet PSA, and deploy those periodically throughout the year. So for example, what you guys may have seen is our 4th of July blog. We have that be a standalone email because we want that to be the sole focus of that communication. We want everyone's eyes on it. We want them only thinking about coming to Bothell to celebrate your 4th of July with you. So that's all that email is about, that particular blog. Sometimes we'll do it with fishing. Sometimes we're getting ready to do it with hiking. Those emails are meant to be a little more of a PSA and less self-serving, whereas a newsletter is the longer format, and it's when we are sharing multiple points of interest that might either help someone, it might inspire them to take a trip to Bothell, or it might help them add to an already planned trip to Bothell. So that's how we end up with varying lengths and purposes and intentions behind the types of email communications that we send out. But blogs will either be the feature of an email, or they will be highlighted within a longer form email, which would be like the newsletter. But as part of our new contract, we had agreed if we were going to invest in generating and creating and leveraging reels and original content, that we would carve out space and add movement to our newsletters and our emails in general. So we added a section that you see up here on the screen. Follow us on Instagram. This appears regardless of the email format. So it could be in the short form or the full e-newsletter, but follow us on Instagram with featured reels shows up on all of our emails now. Before we take you through the full blown out new email template, I'll walk you through that and how it changed. The little backstory is that in May, we did do a test of the new email template as it related to the existing template. And we were able to confirm that the performance of the new template would allow us to officially roll it out. So in June, we deployed our first email, and that had the Reels section on there. We have had 42 clicks to date on the Reels section. And specifically, the bucket list reel, which Emily has already showed us, was one of the most clicked items in the June email, receiving over a third of all engagements on the Reels section so far. So, good choice on all of our collective parts to incorporate this into our emails, because not only does it help with email engagement, but it then also helps with our Reels. So with that being said, Emily, if you would click on through to the new template. And I'll kind of start from top to bottom. We moved our navigation tools up to the top right corner to allow for a little bit more real estate for content. The section that you see up at the top, sun, sips, and scenic spots await. This is our intro section. And what would have normally been like our hero image or our header image is now a 4-photo gallery. So immediately you get to see something that's really visually compelling and gives you a sense of not just one scenario that you can see yourself in, but potentially 4 different scenes you can see yourself taking advantage of on your next trip to Bothell. Then we move into section 1. And by when I say section 1, I mean that is the structure, and that means 1 story, 1 image, 1 CTA. That can be populated with whatever content we choose. In this particular instance, we used this section to talk about Basque or Basque related topics. And we did, I can't remember what this one was about. Or maybe the savor sip, that was the difference.
Not your
was
average
the top part. Okay. And then we break it up with offers. So previously, all of the offers ran down the left rail. This time we moved them into the middle of the content to kind of give folks some ideas of, you know, these are some of our offer packages. We presented them in a different way. And then we keep going. And now we have our 2-section block, which is 1 image, 2 sections. This is, you know, we can use it however we want, but just structurally, we wanted to have it be, you know, in case we wanted to talk about wine on one side and food on another, or one type of physical activity and another type on another. It just gives us the option to cover, you know, 2 topics that fall under 1 theme. Here we talk about keeping cool the Bothell way, and also telling our solo adventure story, which was a blog that Emily wrote for the month of July, where we did an itinerary for solo travel. And now we infuse our call to action to follow us on Instagram and to inspire folks not to be afraid to share their stories. We provide 3 of our own. And then we close out with a reminder that there's, you know, more offers to take advantage of. So close out with beers and gears. And then we kept our footer as it was. But overall, this email template is a bit more clean. It, it covers our content themes that we're committed to, and it also allows folks to take advantage of offers and see all of these fantastic reels that we collectively have been working so hard to pull together.
I think it looks really good. Yeah,
Thank
really,
you.
really clean and professional. I like it a lot.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, we've had really good responses to it, so we're happy with what we did there. Any other questions as it relates to the email template, the evolution there?
Yeah, it looks like we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. That's what we have.
Questions in general?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you walking through this with us.
Of course. Happy to do it.
I think there's one question here.
Oh, I was just curious because, one of the things we do is budget. And you have some really high impact things and I like it too. I think it's great. Thank you for showing it to us. If we needed to make some substantial adjustments in our budget, where would we start? You're showing us the high impact things and we don't have any way to know what kind of cost correlates with any of this. If I'm out of line with this conversation, if I'm off, out of, step with where we're going. But I was just kind of curious about, are there some things that we could do if we needed to, we're just not having the income stream that we had projected. And we're looking at many things. So
I can answer that question. And we'll be talking about that in the agenda.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about where we're at with our budget. And then I can always share with you the contract that we have with Streetsense.
Okay.
And compare that to, maybe where we were before the pandemic and where we are now. But we've definitely adjusted the budget thanks to help from Jennifer and Streetsense and really letting us know what we can do with the funds that we have available. And so much of what we are doing is really around the realm of organic work and allowing us to do what we can with the budget we have available. And it's a good budget. It's a very good budget. But we are limited in the amount of, paid advertising we can do, for example. So,
okay. I thought, looking at things with an eye toward, you've got a lot of parts that are working really well and maybe some things not as much, but just, how do we fine tune, I guess. And I know you're on that all the time, but from our standpoint as a committee, we're always looking at, are there some strings we could pull? I'm feeling sort of dojish right this minute. And that's why I asked the question. So thank you.
Okay, guess we're good. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having us anytime. We're happy to brag about all the things we've been working on with Danae.
Very nice.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will exit your call and let you have the floor back. And Danae, we will talk to you later. We'll send over this deck, Danae, so that you can have it to share with the committee if you decide that's appropriate.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for offering for that.
Thank
I was
you.
going to ask. We got
All
another
right,
copy.
thanks,
Wait.
guys.
Oh, no, we just had to do thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Big thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I have an allergy. I'm not dying. I'm not contagious, and I'm so sorry. And the quieter it is, the more I seem to.
Well, sometimes AC will kick up. It's all dry. It's all dry
Yeah,
here.
yeah. The good news is nobody gets this but me. This is just
Yeah.
a little special. Yeah.
So our next uses of new business is consideration of the June 17th, 2025 minutes. And we need approval on that. Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next one. is World Cup.
We are going to continue to include World Cup under old business because as we begin ramping up more and more, we're really interested in hearing if you're hearing of anything or if your businesses have anything planned or if there's any updates that you'd like to share with us. The city is beginning to have conversations about potential for activities, whether it be pick up soccer games and advertising that through our hotels as people come into the country. It's very popular to play pickup soccer, so offering space for that is something that we're working on. We're also working on the potential for having maybe some watch parties in locations that are near where these pickup games are held so that there's kind of a communal feel for our visitors when they are here. We've been having conversations with outside agencies such as transportation buses that could potentially be transporting people between hotels and on site to where the games are located or to where watch parties are located or just getting to transportation, communal transportation. So those are some of the items that we're talking about, but we really need to hear from all of you and specifically our hotels in knowing, will there be transportation at your hotels, for example? I know several hotels have vans available, many do not. I can give you any updates. I don't really have any updates so much from what other cities are doing. I shared that with you last month. So I think we've got that pretty much updated. But if there's anything that you would like to share with us, we'd love to hear it and continue to have those conversations internally as we plan.
We've had bikes and scooters on the street in the past. And I don't know where the city's at with that. Is that a substantive element in getting people transported around? And is that something that should get looked at? I know we've got new law going on now where we're not going to demand the parking requirements anymore from some of the new construction, and I see parking becoming an increasingly big problem. I'm so disappointed about that. But I mean, I don't normally bicycle, so
We can talk about parking.
what would that look like? And is there a way to incorporate some of that
Well, let's start with
transportation to the event?
let's start with the hotels. Are you guys planning on it?
We are there. We're not going to offer transpo, but we have full court press like on our website and our social posts about how to navigate public transit to down there. Right?
You guys are close enough to the downtown area with a
Yeah, I think that, I mean,
promoting the walk.
theoretically, you go to 522, take the 522 to Roosevelt Station, take the light rail down.
Yeah.
Right.
When you,
Very straightforward.
and that's what we've been kind of pushing. We've been on that for almost a year now, but it's linked on the website. It's had a couple different social posts about it. And I can't say that yes, for sure what we're going to do game wise, but I would guess that we would probably open up Danes Hall.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the Uber Lyft engagement out there? Is it good?
It's pretty
Yeah.
good. I drove Uber out here for a long time and it was pretty good.
I think the bikes and scooters are a great option for getting city to city right here. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think that I heard that Kenmore might use the line soon if they haven't already. I see them, they die over there. I tried once. But
They're not going to charge properly.
yeah. So, but I do think that that's something we could ramp up between the cities. But yeah, we have a strong Uber and.
Yeah. I think the whole east side is pretty covered on it. Whole set of drivers that run this way, this downtown, I don't know. It's just,
And then with Sound Transit, increasing their lines down Lake City, I think we just have a really good infrastructure for Bothell. And it'll grow for Kenmore too with the new lines.
yeah,
So
pushing the light rails.
key, yeah. Get the Uber to the light rail and go down.
Yeah, from the light rail, if
Yeah.
you're not convinced you can, take one bus to the light rail or, you know what I mean? Uber to the light rail is probably situation.
Is there something with like Streetsense where they can do some sort of like promotion that way to show that to like a video or something? Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's part of the education, just like what McMinnon's is
Yeah.
doing. We've spent now close to a year. We have several blogs. One
Okay.
is a blog on educating people about where the professional locations are for sporting events in Seattle. And then the second one is how to get to and from Bothell from those locations, different options. that are available.
That seems like a critical element. And also, what kind of provisions do we have? You know, if you're disabled, if you're elderly, if you need some extra assist, what does that look like too? Because everybody's on the go, you know, even people that normally maybe wouldn't be in times past. Because there's a way to get around. You know?
Has anybody reached out to North Shore? Because Hopkins should be pretty clear after graduation if it's, towards the end of June. About like that you were talking about with the pop-up soccer games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I reached out to them initially, just revolving around the idea of doing watch parties they weren't particularly, at the time, but that was almost a year ago as well.
If they're not doing anything, that gives us much more parking again.
Yeah.
At least.
Good point.
Yeah,
They should utilize it for the games though, because I feel like there would be a lot of engagement as far as
I think
younger
they
younger
should too,
kids too, and even getting
I
the
mean, they can even
families
just
to
open
play.
up the snack bar and make some.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have to do all the top, but just have something. Yeah. 'Cause they're the only
And promote their own stuff.
nearby, right? That's that close.
Yeah.
Besides the school fields, but.
Kind of surprised. But I mean, it's during the summer, so they're probably like, oh, yeah, no, we're not.
On North Creek.
Yeah, other conversations have been with UW Bothell and Cascadia College. They have a field. They also have their hall. I can't think of Mobius Hall. There's several screens there, so that's a potential opportunity. And then the North Shore Youth Soccer Association is definitely interested in partnering at the local level to help support these like the pickup games that could be going on. So
are these events during the school year or are they?
they start in the
Vacation.
middle of June, so it's right around graduation.
So some of the
With-
facilities on the colleges and campuses could be available. Then.
Sorry.
The first game is on Juneteenth, so that's when the US plays at Lumen. And they sorry, I lost my train of thought. So that will be right around graduation. So we know Pop Keeney wouldn't be available for a watch party on that day.
Well, graduation happens a little earlier, but for the universities, let's read theirs.
Yeah.
But I think that's down the road anyway. I mean, I think we're doing what we need to do and we'll see how it falls.
Yeah, other than just looking for opportunity, there really isn't much we can do at this point that I can think of.
We talked a little bit about this at the last meeting, but the Seattle Chamber has a business toolkit that has now or will be released soon. And I know that the Bothell Chamber will be sharing that with their small businesses.
Yeah, I think it's about education and that might not be ready till fall, actually. Late fall.
The club toolkit came out and will probably be very similar
Good,
to the
yeah.
World Cup.
I think on all fronts, in both cities, Kenmore and Bothell, and Shoreline, everybody is just talking about, so we can all be on the same page. And it's really just about education. So I think, and then each city, I mean, Redmond's got spending $2 million on activities. So they're putting a lot of money into it. But they have a huge sporting, sports fields. And,
Well, yeah, that's 60 acres or whatever.
that just gets crazy.
I don't agree that much effort.
Yeah.
Hotel tax, let's take care to cover all that.
So something nice is we can be kind of a place to stay and watch and have out of the hubbub too. I mean,
That's
I mean, a
pretty
lot
much
of
our
this
whole
is
aim
kind
in
of,
general.
yeah, what kind of self-image do we want to adopt?
Yep.
And
Relaxed viewing, that can, those kind of words should be pushed. Easy access, relax, those type of things, right?
Yeah, I think our next, we have another meeting, what, in October? I think at that meeting, we'll have more of the toolkits and kind of a game plan, state council will know what they want to spend and then we can just rally behind it for tourism. Yeah.
Okay, ready to go on to the next topic?
Yes.
We've got a staff report on RFQ downtown Bothell Public Art Plan pilot station.
One of the assets for World Cup and Bothell will be a downtown public art plan and then a pilot implementation project. We received funding from the Port of Seattle with matching funds from the city. An RFQ has been written and we're about to go live with it on a hiring an artist, author, public art. And these are individuals that specialize in putting together plans. The plan will include how to activate the downtown core with public art artists, and then the pilot program actually includes implementation with funds to use artists from that roster to work with downtown businesses and the chamber to put together a actual project for World Cup. So think maybe an artist that is focused on those teams that are coming to Seattle. So if it's Spain or if it's Portugal, there could be colors and light or, something to welcome them and our visitors to the area. So we have kind of that cohesive look and feel for the downtown area. This funding comes from the Port of Seattle through our economic development coordinator. And he's working on a vitality plan, and that vitality plan includes developing districts. So this could become a public art plan that is not just for downtown, but is evergreen and can be applied to other districts as well. So think Canyon Park, think North Creek, businesses could use this plan and hire artists at varying costs. So that the plan will also include that. What can you do for $500 compared to what can you do with $10,000? And then these districts can come together and collaborate on funding and projects that create a cohesive look and feel for their district. There will also be themes included in the plan. So think seasonal themes, think World Cup themes. There could be other themes down the line too. So
When is the timeline for that project?
well, the RFQ should go out on Friday.
Okay.
And then it closes in the middle of August. And then we will be implementing the project as well as the plan at the same time, and our thinking. I think that helps the author of the plan to be actually working as they're drafting the plan.
It's a 15-month project, so it
Yeah.
starts August to the following year until.
Right.
And so it's actually, we
Got
want
like a month.
the project will be done by the end of May because we want it to be World Cup ready.
Well, but the project isn't just actual big art. It's actually tracking
Yep.
how we're engaging with the community. Are we helping the businesses? How are we linking that?
This portion of the project goes till May, but to your point, you're right. It does go on beyond that because there's all that tracking that you're talking about. So.
Right. I mean, the point of it isn't just put a piece of art up. It's to actually track through the summer and all the things that the community and the tourists is engaging with. So, yeah.
Okay. Revenue to date?
So I have some good news. The funds are looking much better than they did last month. We didn't track the numbers correctly last month. I was looking at what was in for this year, and I was looking at 5 months out for last year. So we were really kind of 2 months off. And now the April revenue has come in for this year. So we are down compared to last year, but not to the extent that I thought we were. So that's good news. We are 4.5% down over last year. We just heard from another city, they're down 11% over last year. So we're doing okay. We just have to continue watching our budget and we've got our contracts in place, so we'll continue doing what we're doing and not extend that beyond what we're capable of.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. I think people are gonna start to spend money again. I just think that there's been so much news that has made people uneasy. And, as people adjust, think, we've got a great summer ahead of us. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic.
The city that reached out to me that mentioned that they were 11% down, they do have more hotels, so it's kind of expected that they would be. They have more inventory, but they're really looking and assuming that it has something to do. And based on what their hotels are saying, with what the tariffs going implemented in Canada.
Yeah, Canadian travel's down substantially.
I have Van City Pro, they're all coming out of Canada. They stayed last weekend, they're gonna be here this weekend.
Vans
So we-
Pro, is that the soccer?
It's football.
I think the groups are keeping to their commitments. I think it's that individual traveler that.
Because there was no buzz around Blue Jays weekend this year, it's not.
But the more people that are starting to come down
Yeah.
and experience going through the border, all the talk of all this was going so high and hot that everybody was freaked out. Now people are starting to travel. They're like, it's not that big of a deal. Just say you are a Trump supporter and you go right on through. You know what I mean? So the more talk, the more people. Well, that's what they're talking. Just to get through the border, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, and then we go to, we say, Canada.
Right.
Yeah,
I was at a Blue Jays game and I swear every stinking Blue Jay on the planet was at that game. So
But there was-
I don't know where they were staying.
Yeah.
They're always past.
Yeah.
There was no buzz like in other years, right? It would
Yeah.
be sold out all the way up past me, past. Right, because usually big events like World Cup, it's gonna start selling out here and then it's gonna go like this, right? There hasn't been as much go like this, and the Canadian transit travel has been down 50%, according to Expedia and the OTAs, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think, we get through the summer, we'll see a
that's
big
what I.
shift here in the next couple months. So by next year, we'll be all right, I think. It's just all talk.
Once,
Little comment.
yeah, it seems like that there's been a lot of using tariffs as a tool, and once people kind of understand it.
The tariff has nothing to do with coming across the border
Well,
to
that's
shop
it.
and visit, it's.
Yeah, I mean, if their dollar was buying 10 cents on one of ours, it'd be a different deal, but, not the case.
Danae, can I ask what city that is, or would you rather not say?
Linwood.
Linwood.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that it's not as high.
We have a lot of,
No, I was just going back to budget.
well, I think we're having more and more nice attractions, and, it's really nice that, the city's put a lot of money into Main Street and the bobblers. We lost our keep out, go back. Eco blocks, if you haven't been down there, it's gonna be really nice this summer to not have the, beware of flying monkey signs. So have it actually look like we're inviting people down instead of some sort of, with all the construction, it was just like a big construction. So.
Well, the road construction has been really difficult when I complain about getting around downtown, it's a little tight, but it was a necessary convenience to do the things we need.
And they did it pretty fast too. That was what I was impressed with, because they had a deadline and they just rushed through that. So I was like, yeah, cool, because usually these things would go for.
They're like my kids, you give them a deadline and all of a sudden they can get things done.
Yeah. We all learned that one way doesn't really mean one way right now. You have to get somewhere. So.
Well, it's good to hear it's not as bleak.
Yes.
We're doing okay.
So,
Yeah, that June or the April revenue, we're on a 2-month lag, so we get the April money in June. So with the June payment, all right, we're doing okay.
And April was the biggest breakout, you know, that's when the stock market dumped at the end of the month, and that's when people were really, really showing heavy concern, so I hope that.
Which is strange, honestly, for me, because my business really flourished in April for some reason. I don't know why.
Nice.
Maybe we were all
was like-
looking for a gentler, kinder
maybe
environment.
A softer one. Yeah, I don't know, it was weird.
My mother used to own a bookstore and she would talk about that, you know,
Yeah.
there'd be those,
Weird random months that
maybe
fluctuate.
the, you know, people weren't spending as much, they were trying to save and they would look to other
January
means.
Yeah, I kinda heard a lot more people getting together with groups and doing more book.
Yeah.
Creative clubs like that,
yeah.
And I think it's taken a long time for people to get a pace with being with other people again since COVID. I think people found some sort of comfort and safety in becoming more isolated. It just seems like people are much more willing to get together. I have many more people that come into my office now, even just to pay a bill or to ask a question. For a long time, there was no one. And now people just seem to want to get out and be around other people. That's kind of nice. And we have a great environment to do that.
So should we move on to committee reports, general comments and reports? Anybody got anything to report, share with the class?
You have an event coming up on Saturday, correct?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have the Bothell Wine, Beer and Spirits Walk.
Wednesday, you guys are gonna come by and check in with us, things, have the email about it.
Yeah, otherwise, actual checking with all the hosts.
Gotcha.
And people are buying they're going and checking in at the chamber. Or be checking in.
First in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't really promote it on Begin at Bothell. So I would love to, like, make sure we get our downtown events, like, and on their list, because we have the top 10, 12 things to do this summer, and it wasn't one of them. And then we just promoted this last week, Woodinville again, but we don't promote what we're doing very much. And I know that we kind of put it a little further out with them, but we set our dates the year before. So I just think it would be a good tie-in with New Light Maine and our wine walks in general.
Yeah.
So,
Saturday's gonna be jumping.
yeah.
Nice. And the city must be maintaining our planters this year. I don't know, but they look so good.
They've been meeting and doing some good things down there.
Yeah, and for a long time, it was a jungle.
Yeah, no, I was noticing the planners walking down.
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is nice to walk on Main Street.
I think Lee may have been partly responsible for that because I think she'll put some perennial plantings in. Years ago, I saw a great,
Coming back up.
Yeah. we
yeah, I
have
saw
a
a great,
committee
beautiful
that-
rosemary bush that I.
Oh, yeah. There's a big lavender ones too. There's a giant.
Well, it's more they're
Oh.
keeping them up. I
Yes.
think that Public Works is doing.
That was the big
Yeah,
thing,
this
yeah. They were really overgrown, so they were good.
Well, and that curb appeal helps with our.
So much.
The newsletters.
I'm so happy with the new sidewalks.
There's some nice, aren't they?
Oh my gosh, I know.
Not
I'm
tripping and stuff.
For the tree right along the street, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very
One of the things I'm not very fond of is some of the cutouts they've made that have come into the street really narrows the space for the cars. And maybe they thought that would kind of naturally slow the traffic, but up where I am, like coming into the alley that goes where Main Place comes down to our parking, if you have a big vehicle, it's really hard to turn in there.
Part of it
So
is
they
making
did
it
some really
ADA
good
accessible that we have to do,
Mhm.
which
Doing
is
what?
making it ADA
Supposed
accessible.
to be a certain width.
Yeah.
The sidewalks, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, to allow like people who are wheelchairs and that sort of thing, able to navigate, get on and off the sidewalk and cross the street.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's an issue there. That's mid-block. And they just pinched sidewalks. Well, you'll know, you'll walk, you'll see what I mean when you're up there. It's at the top where you turn down to go down Main Place into all the parking below.
That was always a weird parking area though too.
It is the worst parking area, but the thing is, there was plenty of room to turn in. Now they have the sidewalks pooching way out, so, and sticking way out, and you have to really turn sharply And then the street isn't very wide, so it's just problematic. And there's two fences, there's my fence, the city put up a fence, we got some goofy things going on. All in all, that's a different committee.
Transitory, yeah.
I just had a question too about like the note about how do we, like the events getting onto the Begin at Bothell. Is it still via that like submission thing? Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you kind of refresh my memory on how to, we can do this later too, it doesn't have to be part of this meeting, but I would love a refresher on how to get that information on there.
Yeah, sure. So is there a place where the people submit potential content for them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, do you have your meeting and date and agenda?
Nice to spot October 21st.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Mark your calendars. Do we have anything particular we need to do at that meeting?
Probably conversation about the holiday lights.
Yeah.
How that's
Oh, yeah.
going into place. See how the summer fared for tourists,
What are we
Hotel
doing
stays.
for the holiday lights? Yeah.
You'll have to come October 21st. Right now.
That's not part of, are we still on our contract with? Yeah. We'll give an update on how,
Diwali Day.
Oh, fun.
are we gonna celebrate as a city Diwali?
We have in the past.
I think we just did one time. It was just a nice celebration.
On Main Street.
Yeah. It was a nice celebration and I thought it was really eclectic and, fun and.
Yeah. I'm sure if there's an opportunity, we can have it. Okay, so October 21st, do you need any other future, do you want to go into 2026 or do you want to do it one meeting at a time?
We can maybe set the 2026 schedule at the.
Maybe the
October
whole
meeting.
Yeah.
year if the.
Yeah, we can add that to the agenda. That's a good idea.
Jean, do you know if they're gonna put the lights over Main Street again this summer? They put the lights up last summer, but that's.
Yeah, I just don't, I don't think they've ever been
They're
up
doing
yet.
it a little differently this year. I think they're going to be wrapped around the trees as opposed to the bistro lights that went across the street instead. And then
But
that
they have
way
to
they
take them
can.
down when they have the parade and things, so they wouldn't have put them up anyway till now.
Till now, it really is, it really makes it much more lively.
It is fun. I don't know if they're putting them back up. Do you know today? If the bistro lights are going back up for the rest of the summer?
They won't be the bistro lights going across the street.
Okay.
They're gonna be in the trees.
Oh,
I just don't know the date on when that's
Okay.
happening, and I can find that out and send you all an email.
well, and then that'll
Well,
go.
that'll be fun.
I think it has something to do too with Light on Main events happening there and then of course 4th of July, so, but.
Yeah, they could use some light later in the evening.
Just a nice thing to add on to once even during the winter into like when it's really dark out on Main Street and just having.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they're gonna continue
Yeah, sounds
something.
like it, yeah.
I'm just saying like that Moonlight on Main gets super dark.
Oh, yeah.
And so, the vendors are hard to see.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Woodinville put up a bunch of lights on their trees, you've been in Woodinville there where the theaters are. And I thought they'd take them down and they haven't, they just left them on there. It's quite a spectacle.
Yeah, it looks
It's
pretty.
very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Well, good job on Streetsense. They look good.
Yeah, it does look good.
How long is their, when is their?
The contract ends the end of 2026.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was thinking.
All right, anything else to cover?
Have they made any midterm adjustments to the contract, haven't they, when we were in pinch?
In the back,
Yes. I know we don't like to ask them what we're doing. I was just curious about.
Yeah, so it's a 2-year.
Glad that we're recovering or something.
Okay, so you want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I said.
I said, okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for some time back too.